Hello everyone and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments and we got 4 amazing decks for you today, including one that I promise you've never seen anything like before. Kicking it off, however, we've got Sizer returning with the Move Machine list. This is a combination of the standard move list and the Storm War Machine Legion Lockdown. And because you have cards like Mana Web and Aranya, you're able to use different combos with Storm in order to really go over the top of opponents. And of course, you just have the regular power of the giant move scalers. You can find Sizer, a multiple-time former #1 player on the Infinite Leaderboard at twitch.tv/Sizer2654. He is one of the best players in the history of Marvel Snap, and in fact, just won a tournament yesterday. Congrats to our friend Sizer. This deck needs Mana Web, Goliath, War Machine, and Legion. Basically, you need War Machine and Legion for the combo with Storm. Goliath, because Heimdall doesn't actually do the thing you want here. You can try Heimdall there, but it's much worse. And Mana Web is your repeatable mover. Mana Web is basically the most important card in every move list, especially with Red Guardian list prevalent right now. She's about as good as she's ever been. Aranya here can be Doctor Strange. It's worse, but it's an acceptable replacement. Okay, so our one-drops. You might notice here that we don't have any Human Torch. We are moving Vulture and Dagger as our move cards. Another reason we don't really care about the Heimdall. We also don't have room for Cloak. So all of the things that make Heimdall good aren't really here. Aranya, Ghostbiter, and Iron Fist are here specifically for Dagger and Vulture. Vulture is generally the best move card. Dagger is much stronger later in the game. So you want to use Aranya, Ghostbiter, Iron Fist to get early moves on Vulture or late moves on Dagger. Late moves on Dagger should be obvious. She's going to get +2 per move, but the real important part here is that opponents generally have more cards on the board later in the game, right? So she's going to get more power per move once the opponent has had more cards. Mana Web is your repeatable move. You want to drop cards on her and move her. Obviously, Dagger and Vulture are great there. A thing a lot of people miss, though, is Cosmo is one of the best cards to play on Mana Web. A movable Cosmo can really mess up opponents. A lot of times it'll be obvious where the opponent has to play, particularly an on-reveal card and things like Surfer, and Cosmo can stop that in a really, really simple manner. So the other thing to know is that if you do get a Storm and Legion and you have like a Vulture on Mana Web, right? Let's say you play Storm on turn either 3 or 4, and then you Legion. Well, I guess it would have to be 3, right? Because the Storm directly into Legion doesn't work anymore. But you play Storm on 3, and then you play Vulture on 4, then you play oh, you couldn't do that anymore. They totally broke that combo. Sorry, that's the older version of the list. Please excuse me. So the other thing she does, though, is if you get the combo and your opponent has an answer or a way to play a card, you can move your cards in order to get the power where you need them as necessary. Storm, then War Machine, then Legion wins a lane. You can also win Storm lanes lots of other ways, and Iron Fist or Aranya into them. A Mana Web, a tossed card in there is often going to be enough to win a Storm lane, and obviously that's a very, very effective place to be. You can also use Storm and then have played War Machine. War Machine just being a good powered 4/6. Having access to War Machine then lets you play more cards into that lane later without you having to directly compete there immediately. Vulture is your other really big scaler here. Again, Vulture is generally speaking your game-winning card. A lot of games where you don't do the full combo, you're going to win off the back of Vulture and Infinite or Vulture and Alive, so keep that in mind. Legion is here for the War Machine combo. Legion is also just a very powerful card. Sometimes opponents get very powerful locations from Legion. Sometimes there's the move and get +2 power like Kunlun location that you can make. You can use Legion to turn that into everything, and then you can use like a few move cards on the last turn to really explode in power. That kind of thing is what Legion offers you in addition to the Storm War Machine combo, in which you play Storm War Machine, then you Legion the flooding, and opponent can't play, but you can because you have War Machine. Alive is your shut-off opponent counter card play. In particular, what we end up often doing is we build ourselves a reasonably big Vulture and Dagger earlier. And you know a lot of decks right now are running cards like Shang-Chi and Shadow King, and they're going to use those cards to try and beat you. Once you get good at reading your opponents, Alive says no thank you and stops that noise. And finally, Infinite. Infinite seems like just a card to drop because you're running War Machine, right? But what ultimately happens with Infinite is just at the end of the game, you get yourself a decent-sized Vulture and a medium-sized Dagger, and then you just drop 20 power in a lane because you played War Machine on turn 4 or 5. Like, you can you do like an Iron Fist into Mana. You just do a Mana Web into Vulture, and then you move Vulture and you go Spider it back, right? And now you've got this really big Vulture, and then you can play War Machine and Aranya or something. And then last turn of the game, you just drop Infinite, and you should be totally fine. Or you can play Mana Web and whatever, right? Like you can who cares what you do on turn 3, and then you can War Machine on 4, and then you can like Ghost Spider or Iron Fist Ghost Spider Vulture on turn 5 into Madam Web, and then you can just go off by dropping it in front of another lane. It's just this big power card you get access to by virtue of playing the deck. Yes, it is less power than Human Torch. This deck does not go nearly as over the top as classic move, but it trades that for the ability to really mess with opponents and play control. Sizer has a whopping 77% win rate with this in 34 games. That's obviously utterly absurd. Turn 1, Aranya. Turn 2, Web or Iron Fist or Vulture. Turn 3, Storm. If we think we have a combo. If we have 2 pieces of the combo, we're going to Storm here over Vulture. And if we have Vulture with a move, we should get ready to snap. White means almost always snap. Green means snap conditionally. Turn 4, we're going to do either more moves or War Machine. Turn 5, we can do Legion, final moves. War Machine plus 1 is often a totally fine play. And then turn 6, we're going to go Infinite or Goliath. Please remember for that War Machine plus 1 play, if you played Vulture on turn 4 or Dagger on turn 4, you can move them here using your Madam Web, right? And then you can go Spider them back and then still drop War Machine in order to set up an Infinite. You set up that Infinite or Goliath and you win the game. This deck absolutely prints cubes. It's incredible. We're going to see a lot of this going forward, I would guess, unless the meta shifts radically in the next week, and I don't think Think First Steps is going to do that. This deck is here to stay. Before we go forward, please hit that sub button if you're willing to. We bring you 7 days a week for Marvel Snap videos, more videos than anyone. If you want the best decks in the metagame, hit that sub button in order to get them here every single day. In addition, we are giving away a season pass this week. I will announce our last season pass winner from last week in tomorrow's video, so make sure you're ready for that. But we will be giving away a Mr. Fantastic First Step, so if you do sub, like, and comment. The specific comment comes later in the video. All right, so I was sent this deck by Danish, and then I spoke to Xenaid and Smiles and Heart of the Cards about it, and Xenaid Cooked is the name of this list, and everyone's laughing at this list because this list is the stupidest thing in the world, except it keeps winning for everyone. Everyone's absolutely dominating with this list. This list is one of the best in Marvel Snap. I genuinely think this is better than the Hella Enjoyer version of the same list, which is a wild place to be. We don't have to worry about magic. We don't have to worry about any extra shenanigans. This deck just hits combos in absolutely insane ways. You can find Xenaid at twitch.tv/XenaidTFT. Apparently used to play Teamfight Tactics, no longer. This deck needs Jennifer Kale, Infinite, Jennifer Kale, Tribunal, that's the card I was looking for. Jennifer Kale, Tribunal, Luna, Mr. Fantastic, Astral, and Blink. That seems like it's expensive, right? Jennifer Kale is a Series 4. Fantastic is the season pass, so $10. Astral, Series 4 that you should have gotten for free. Tribunal is a Series 4. Blink is the one Series 5, although it is an old season pass, and Luna is a Series 5. So it's not as expensive as it looks, even though it's not cheap. Cobra and Banner are just kind of extra cards here. Herbie, Surge, Invisible Woman are your replacements. You'd like an extra ramp in a 2 if you can get there, but you can sort of run anything. They're not, again, terribly, terribly important here. Don't overthink it. Cobra is just really, really funny into the meta right now. There's just a lot of generated stuff. You can drop Cobra and get some real value. I know everyone says that card is bad. It's not great, but like it's definitely got its uses, and sometimes you've just got a lot of extra energy floating here, and sometimes you get 12 power for it, and it gives you an extra way to win if you don't see your full combo. That full combo is obviously here as get Onslaught, Iron Man, Tribunal in the lane, right? That's what we're really trying to do. There's also the power of getting Sarah Onslaught in the lane and being able to go off that way. That tends to be reasonably strong as well, but honestly, we're trying to do that in order to get Iron Man in the lane and Tribunal in the lane, because we have multiple ways of doing that. We got multiple shots at Blink and multiple shots at Jubilee, thanks to Astral. We get multiple shots at playing cards early, thanks to Fantastic, Jennifer Kale, and Luna Snow, and everything really comes together. Bruce is here once more just as extra power. Force the opponent to think about that lane. No one knows what the hell you're doing when you start playing cards like Bruce Banner and Cobra. They are cube equity because everyone's like, oh, they're running bad cards. Until this video gets around, everyone's like, oh, they're running bad cards. I can do whatever I want. So Bruce, that's the use of Bruce and Cobra here. Fantastic is here as ramp. You do want that negative cost. You don't care about the +2 power in any real way, but getting a negative cost on anything in the top row basically is very strong for you. You're also happy to get a 2-cost Astral Projection. Because of that negative cost, you often have extra room for Bruce. This is the best Cobra deck ever, and Cobra is nowhere near important in it. Cobra is here literally just to really mess with opponents. From there, we're going to go with our friend Jennifer Kale. Jennifer Kale gives us a ramp. We very much want to play Sarah or Iron Man on turn 4, and Jennifer Kale and Luna Snow are our 2 ways to do that. If we can get one of those out on turn 4, we can do some shenanigans with either Blink or Jubilee on turn 5 in order to really get the game going. We can also, if that play was Luna, directly immediately play Blink into into getting Sarah or Iron Man. Those are the cards we're looking for. Jubilee is here because, well, Jubilee and Blink are amazing because Astral Projection gives us a cheaper version of them. They are our unrevealed cards in the deck. Being able to get a Jubilee for 3 or a Blink for 3 is incredibly strong and lets us still the next turn play them again in order to try and get our combos going. That combo, again, is Iron Man, Onslaught, Tribunal, ideally in the same lane, but as long as Iron Man and Onslaught are in the same lane, it doesn't really matter. Sarah and Onslaught let you do all sorts of crazy combo plays at the end of the game. If you get Sarah Onslaught, that will be a 3-cost Iron Man, which means you can play Iron Man, and you can still Astral off like your Sarah in order to get the Tribunal, for example, in order to try and get the Iron Man, which is just again, like that Astral's costing 1 at that point. You have that kind of crazy combo potential in this list. 80% win rate in 40 games is this. That's just Denish's stats. There's plenty of other people absolutely crushing with this. Again, this deck seems wild, but is real. Turn 1 pass, turn 2 Fantastic, over Kale, over Bruce, over Cobra. Turn 3 you want Luna. Again, if we can get one of our 5s out on 4, we're cooking. So turn 4 is Sarah or Iron Man. Blink or Jubilee are totally fine plays here. I tend to default to Blink earlier, assuming that I can blink off a 3-drop. So turn 5 Blink, or we can play Onslaught or Tribunal. Sometimes we played Kale, now we played Iron Man on 4, then we can go Onslaught into Tribunal, and we're perfectly happy. This is a great turn for Astral or Astral plus a 2-drop as well, if you want to potentially go off last turn. So remember that, like, if you don't have pieces of your combo, you're going to use Jubilee, you're going to use Blink to get them. Try and keep an eye on board space as such. Turn 6 Onslaught Tribunal, or we can do Astral on Blink and Jubilee, especially if we have we still have our Jennifer Kale, or we have our Luna, or Fantastic anything cheaper. We can do Astral and Blink on the last turn. We blink away something else, and then we Astral for Jubilee, and we should be able to get multiple cards on the board in that manner, and thus be able to generally win the game. If we had to Blink on turn 5, right, we can, or Blink on turn 4, we can still Jubilee that away. If we had to, Jubilee on turn 5, we can still blink that card away on turn 6 in order to really sing and get all of our combos going. This list is, again, an absolute monster. I urge you to play it. It's got so many plays in it. It's got so many cool combos. No one knows what you're doing. You're running what people think are bad cards. Like everything but Mr. Fantastic and Luna in that bottom row is something people consider a bad card, right? Jubilee is generally not highly thought of. Tribunal is not highly thought of. But you play them together, and all of a sudden, the magic happens. Play this list. Xenaid absolutely cooked. He's a mad genius. Give it some run. Before we go forward, I should be streaming. I'm hoping to be streaming relatively soon after this video goes live, so please check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. It would mean a lot if you stopped by. Next up, we've got Fudge No Mill. This is a list that's everywhere. Cam just featured it, so this list is going to be absolutely everywhere. Right now, Fudge is around the top 10 of the Infinite Leaderboard with it. It is basically, Fudge played mainly for multiple seasons, even when Mill was bad, and eventually Mill just got cut from the list, except for Baron Zemo, and the deck got better. So this is a very strong deck right now that answers an awful lot of the metagame. Like good into Surfer, good into Cerebro, good into a lot of different stuff. Super strong deck. You can find Fudge at twitch.tv/elephantfudge. I spelled Fudge wrong there somehow. Fudge, no, it's just Fudge. Elephant Fudge. Fudge is awesome. This deck needs Mr. Fantastic, Surge, Luna, and Misery. Zemo can be Gladiator or Negasonic. Again, relatively cheap deck, right? The Hood is here because having deep access to demons is incredibly powerful. You have to get rid of the Hood, but that's not complicated to do. You have Lady Deathstrike and Misery to do so. Killmonger too. We do, generally speaking, want to throw Prio, and Hood can help with that. The reason we want to throw Prio, and I'm just going to skip ahead to the key control cards, is Shadow King, Killmonger, and Misery. And Lady Deathstrike. Cerebro dies to Lady Deathstrike. So do the Victoria Handless. Killmonger helps with those Victoria Handless. Shadow King helps with the Surfer lists that are everywhere, and then Shang answers everything else. This is a tech pile for the current metagame fundamentally. Next up, we have Mr. Fantastic for Steps. Getting cards cheaper and bigger is better. It's the best card in the game. He just goes in decks. Cheaper, however, is important here, so we also back him up with Surge. You can tell how important the discounts are for Mr. Fantastic, often by whether the deck wants Surge or not. We do want Surge, so that is again, an obvious place that this power is. Fantastic, Surge, and Luna, saying we can ramp into Lady Deathstrike. We can ramp into going Hood and Misery, and then we can play Demon Lady Deathstrike, are all very powerful plays. And extra energy at the end of the game is really good too, because we can do things like Shang-Chi, Shadow King, Demon, or if we don't get Death all the way cheap enough, we can still play like that. We can sneak that Death in there as well. Iron Patriot just gives us powerful to an actual really strong card. Iron Patriot tends to be really good with Zemo. We do have the Iron Patriot Hood combo that I refer to as the Burrs combo, which is as follows. Hood on turn 1 or 2, Iron Patriot and Demon on the Hood lane on turn 3, Misery on turn 4. What's with that and that Demon lane? So now what you have is you have just in that lane, the Misery and the Demon, that's 15 power. That's enough to win most lanes on turn 4. If that is enough to win the lane for you on turn 4 with 15 power, you now have another discounted Iron Patriot card and another Iron Patriot card to discount and an extra Demon. So you should be able to keep the ball rolling. It's a snap condition that's extremely powerful. It's something a lot of people sleep on in Iron Patriot decks. Talked about Monger. Zemo is just a nice card. There's a lot of powerful early stuff. You play Zemo, you get a Victoria hand, you snap. You play Zemo, you hit their Surfer, you snap. You hit their Cerebro, you snap. And that kind of thing is just really useful to have. Luna, Shang, we talked about. Misery is here for the aforementioned combo, but again, we just largely want multiple demons. Do not be afraid to play Shadow King out early, particularly with Lady Deathstrike. And if like they don't end up playing again in that lane, you can always you can Lady Deathstrike that off. If not, you can Misery that off for an extra Shadow King type play, or get an extra Killmonger, all really good. Remember, you do want to use Killmonger and Misery to kill as many things as possible, Lady Deathstrike to kill as many things as possible because of death. Getting a cheap death is obviously one of the more powerful things to do. And then, of course, again, Lady Deathstrike says Cerebro, and your Cerebros are cute, your Victoria Hand, so on. Just let's eat all that stuff and win the game. This one has a 58% win rate in 85 games in Fudge's hands. Fudge often has lower win rates for super successful decks with ridiculous cube rates, so keep that in mind. Turn 1 Hood, turn 2 Fantastic over Surge over Iron Patriot. Turn 3 Luna over Zemo over Killmonger, and again we can switch up for the Iron Patriot combo. Turn 4 we're going to Lady Deathstrike over a 2-drop. We can Shadow King on this turn for Lady Deathstrike, so sometimes it'll be like Shadow King and Zemo, right? Or we can play like Surge if we played Fantastic earlier and Shadow King, just to get our Lady Deathstrike set up. We can also play Misery or Hood, or just drop a Lady Deathstrike. Turn 6, we're going Death and Shang, Death and Shadow King, sprinkle in whatever you want as far as demons go there as well. It's an awesome list. You should probably play it. I don't know. This is where tech piles are. If you're the type of person who's having a lot of success with all the tech piles that are everywhere, this is the evolution of the tech pile for the current metagame in Marvel Snap. We still got one more deck to low, but first, our season pass version is really simple. Have you ever had banh mi? Banh mi is this ridiculously good sandwich that I've been eating like all the time since I got here. Min, the homie Min fame for longtime viewers, has been showing us around to all these like authentic places. But all I want to do is stop at every street cart and get a banh mi and eat that for every meal. It's amazing. So have you ever had banh mi? If not, yeah, you should definitely try it. Also remember that coming relatively soon, within the next week or so, will be the moving to Vietnam vlog. I've got to get the mic set up still. I actually managed to like cut the bag open and get the mic, but we got to get that set up. So we'll have the full mic set up relatively soon. And at that point, we are going to record the video about the travel video at Twitch at youtube.com/PulseGlazer. And don't forget, I should be live relatively soon after this video goes live at twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. Next up, we got Husky Pixie. This is our final deck of the day. I'm not sure what to make of this, but it's got a really good win rate. Part of that is Husky. Part of that is that Pixie and Mobius make a lot of sense here. Like most of these decks were earlier using Luna and Kale as ramp cards, but Pixie and Mobius gives you a lot of extra power and a lot of extra leeway for things to do. You can find Husky at twitch.tv/HuskyPuppies35, one of the best players in the game. We need Agamotto, Ultron, Eitri, Pixie, and Mr. Fantastic for this list. All of those are required cards. Nico can be the Spider-Ham. Sam Wilson can be Surge or Jennifer Kale. Gwenpool can be Galacta, Kahori, Shang, or Enchantress. And Hulkling can be a live rental for Magneto. Now, Nico's, well, let's do it in the card by card. Eitri draws you one of Agamotto's spells. That's it. You get a thicker deck. Eitri says draw a card. You should probably run cards that say draw a card. That's especially when your deck is bigger. He's fundamentally a slightly delayed Infinity Stone for Agamotto list. He's great. Put those two cards together. Nico gives you further draw, but the other thing Nico really gives you is some extra control of your Pixie. So being able to turn Pixie into a demon, being able to use it to draw 2, well, both of those are incredibly powerful things. Quinjet works for Agamotto spells and Infinity Ultron spells. You, in fact, find those 3 cards in the same decks fairly often because of that. Making the Infinity Ultron stones 1 is great. Making any of Agamotto spells cost 1 less, except obviously the 1-drop one is also incredibly strong. Fantastic is an extra way to make all the same things cheaper or more powerful. I'm going to tell you straight up, if Mr. Fantastic gets Infinity Ultron, you are cooking with gas. Infinity Ultron really wants to be a 5/8 for a lot of the things he does to couple off. Pixie gives you Pixie and Emperor Hulk give you this unpredictability that can really win games. Basically, the turn by turn we're about to go over, if you do have once you play Pixie, is up out the window, but it is still really strong. Sam Wilson is decent power early, but what he really does is he gives you this extra body that's very, very powerful for Agamotto's Images of Icon spell, turning the 1/0 shield into a 5/10 Agamotto or a 4/6 Gwenpool is amazing. Juggernaut is a late game lane stealer. Mobius is here, partially because it messes up the meta, forcing people to play like Death Strike on a Mobius lane are perfectly good, but also just very, very strong after Pixie, giving you always the better cost. Gwenpool is an amazing buff. We care about it on Infinity Ultron. We also care about it with Images of Icon. Infinity Ultron obviously is just very strong. Agamotto, we care about two spells in particular with this list, Images of Icon, because of Sam and Gwenpool and Agamotto himself, and the other spell we really care about is Bolts of Balthak, so that we can play some powerful combos, such as Gwenpool and Images on the same turn, such as being able to use Infinity Ultron spells and Emperor Hulkling. That kind of thing is amazing. And of course, Emperor Hulkling is this unpredictable cube thief of a card. In 61 games, this one has a 66% win rate. Turn 1 Eitri over Quinjet over Nico. Turn 2 Pixie over Mr. Fantastic over Sam. And if you have all your big stuff in the deck, Pixie can represent a snap. Turn 3 Mobius, a definite snap after Pixie. Please snap at that. Over 2+1. Turn 4, we're going Gwenpool or Balthak. Turn 5, we can go Ultron or Icon. Sometimes it's like Icon and Gwenpool here. Turn 6, Juggernaut and Stones, or Stones and a Hulkling, and you should win from there. This one is really, really cool. Props to, I believe Husky made this. If someone else made it and gave it to Husky, please do let me know. But I think that this list is absolutely sick. Like, really, really cool list. This one has a little bit of the butt to it with the Emperor Hulkling and Pixie type stuff, but it's a very strong and very effective list in Marvel Snap. Please do check out the stream team if you're willing. If my morning schedule during the weekdays isn't going to work for you, please do remember that weekends I will be around at night. But if you need some more streams, today is Sunday. I believe it's Sunday for everyone. It is Sunday for me as I record, and then it will release Sunday morning for everyone else. So please check out our friend Ubehave, who should be live at about 1 p.m. Eastern playing these decks. Question of the day. Ted Pro, is it better to play one deck for a long time to get really familiar with it, or change up decks to play the latest deck, winning the meta? Assuming your goal is to improve results and you enjoy both equally. A caveat there is important. If you just want to climb, you need to know what your play style is before you know anything else. There are certain decks that don't work for everyone. And it's like people are going to be like, that deck is bad, that deck is good. I think that but a lot of it's just people's brains work differently, which seems like it shouldn't be the case, but it's definitely the case, right? Cam Best is famously not one of the best players in the world, famously not very good with move bounce, despite it being one of the best decks around. There are various decks that I'm not super effective with. I'm not great at the control mid-range shells. They are not the way my brain works. They are not what I enjoy about Purple Snap, and then I start to lose interest, and I don't play nearly as well. Meanwhile, despite not liking combo, I'm really, really good with it. Anything that combos off, even like Simple Destroy, is generally where my power, or like Surfer is where my power level is. I'm very good at reading how much power I need in places and figuring out good angles for that. I.e., I'm better with Cosmo than Shang-Chi, I think is the way I would phrase that. So, like, first you need to know your style. You need to know what you're good and bad at. Then you need to know what the metagame is. So it doesn't matter what deck it is until you know what your style is and you know what the metagame is. Some metagames just aren't going to be conducive to your style. If you really are good with type of deck X and that is not in the metagame, you're going to not do as well. So keep those things in mind. If your only goal is to improve results and you enjoy both, then I would suggest you play what the metagame says that you are best with as much as possible. I don't think changing benefits you unless your goal is to long-term improve your skill at the game. I think changing decks and learning them inside and out, back and forth, will benefit you more long-term. Our friend Heart of the Card Snap, wonderful Marvel Snap player, took a lot of time to learn decks that weren't Surfer at nearly the level he's learned Surfer. And that's like a thing that playing one deck over and over again can cost you with. Like Surfer is a deck they keep bringing back, right? But what happened when Surfer was out of the meta? Hart started playing Bounce Move, and he went from rank 8 to like rank 30, which isn't terrible, obviously, right? That's still really good, but that's not the same level of competition. So if your only goal is improved results, the deck you are best with, that the meta agrees with. However, when that meta shifts, you're going to be left behind for at least a short while. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks. Please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments if you're willing to help us out. It would mean the absolute world. Jonesy Snap 22 is our patron of the month. Please check out Jonesy Snap 22 on YouTube. We have Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, It Regardless, LAB Inc. I am Frostman. Check him out on Twitch, although I haven't seen him stream. Frosty, what's up, man? Jota Neverete, Prime Ryan of the Prime Line app, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood Snap. What's up, Woody? Check out Ryan Wood Snap over on YouTube, please. Ryan Wrench, Gopher, Kev. Where's Oh, wow, we added so many more people. Go for Kev, Keltor33, Caretixley, Koira, and Kazushi, along with Archangel 3K. We're at like 7K now, baby. Black Dyer, Profos, Goat Seeker, and Code, Alliance Town, along with Hallowed, and Synth. How you doing, Synth? Nick, Absolute, Shannon, absolutely. How you doing, Shannon? Nightmare, Wake Up, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bishop, Black James 23, Extra Sweet, and Skippy G. Ms. Jessica Gale, how you doing, Jess? Slush Death, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kibbs, Yoda Clam, Curdle, Fordman, Rob Sobman, David J. Wingfield, Stephen, Brian Kaufman, Tristan, Martin, Jason Bill, Mr. Craig Starry, Matt V, Corey, Real Name Town ends here, and Q Town begins with Corin, John Q, and Jim McQ, the Stout, Eighth, Sage, will be mad. Milkman for Reals, it's Cactus, Jack, Reetser, Steve O, 131, Joe Marco, Ted Pro, Quid Pro Joe. And then we have Snap Decision Show. Please check out the Snap Decision podcast as the town ends. Biggity boom bop. Works 2-click, not 3-click, 2. Green Goblin. Unit bot V2. Check him out on YouTube, please. Lon 56. Spectrum Mix. Woo. Only Fox, Matt H, DJ, Mike Yajinx, no freaking flex. Nick the Geeky, check him out on Twitch. Toxic Soul King is likewise on Twitch, as is Zotrek74, as is the King of Canada, JJ. Denman Falcon is on YouTube. Botlar Newman is on YouTube and Twitch. Two Ties does wear two ties and has to visit me in Vietnam. The great Lauren Whatevs of the Snap on This podcast, the Pirate King Tucker of Twitch and YouTube and everywhere else, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for they announced Golden Gauntlet 3. If you missed it, wait, did they announce Golden Gauntlet 3? God, did I dream that? Traveling around the world is strange. Much love, everybody. I gotta look up whether that's actually real or not. I'll see y'all I want Golden Gauntlet 3 and I want to commentate it. Alright, whatever. I'll see y'all tomorrow for another Snap Tape. Hopefully I'll see you on stream in a couple minutes after you watch this. Peace.